What is up, everyone? It is Crux of Crypto here, and hey, you see a little bit of a different setup here. I am on the road. I am streaming from a hotel, so if the connection's a little bit spotty, let me know. I'll see what I can do. The stream should still go an hour. If we have good connection, it should go an hour. Typically, the way I run my streams is I go through the trending cryptos, I go through the overall markets, and then I switch into the news. I do a little Q&A, switch into some more news, and then I bring in a last segment of Q&A. So quite a bit of Q&A that goes on my platform, but I think this is the best for you guys because I try to answer all the questions that you may have. And this is a very interesting setup. This is the first time, this is actually my fourth week rather, streaming. So I'm still within my first month, and this is the first time I'm sitting down. So and also away from home. So the stream deck, it's over here on the side. It's going to be a little bit wonky today, but bear with me because I think you guys are going to enjoy this show. And you may be tuning in from Tim Warren's channel. I've been definitely working with Shrum and Tim and Smay over there on making sure that we can get the brand recognized and get our names out there because we are good voices in the space and within a space where you don't know who to trust. This is definitely a community to follow. If you've been paying attention to X, we actually had a leaked document from some of the bigger names. I think it was Zach XBT, if I'm not mistaken, who leaked a ton of content creators who are out here, and they're dumping on you guys. So they're getting the tokens, they're shilling it, and they're dumping on you guys. And I want you guys to know that you're safe in our hands. So without further ado, smash that like, hit subscribe if you're not subscribed yet, and let's go ahead and jump into the current state of the markets. So we're sitting at about 3.9 trillion overall market cap. That's not bad. 3.9 trillion. We've been higher. Clearly, we've been up to, I think, 4.3 trillion. So we're on a little bit of a pullback in terms of where Bitcoin was when we hit the $122,000 mark. Something I definitely pay attention to as definitely an altcoin specialist. You guys know me. I love my altcoins. Is the Bitcoin dominance. Up here, you can see it right above my head. It's sitting about 56.7%. It is starting to trickle back up. Does this mean you should be selling all your alts? No, it doesn't. This actually means you should probably be accumulating because remember, late in a bull market, Bitcoin dominance continues to go down. And that is hoping that we do get a blow off top. So if this is your first time in crypto, blow off top may be the first time you're hearing this. But usually Q4 within a bull market, Bitcoin peaks out, alts continue to go for another couple weeks, and then we have the peak and go into a bear winter. So I'm not 100% sure if we're going to have a blow off top this cycle, but I think it's best to be prepared. We don't want to be fully allocated to Bitcoin right now. Now, if you want to play defensively and think that we're going to go into an early bear market, then of course, having Bitcoin through a bear market's always going to do better than just about any alt out there, excluding Tron and Binance Coin, because those are a little bit different culturally. Those are Eastern cryptos, and people in the East like to hodl a lot more than us Americans. We try to sell the top, buy back into the bottom. A lot of people in Asia, they just buy something and they hold on forever. And you could see it in the price action of Binance Coin and Tron. So fun fact, those are two cryptos that fell less than Bitcoin in the last bear market. All right, let's continue moving on and jump into the trending cryptos, and then we'll jump into the news. This is where, again, I feel like I can definitely spotlight my talent is going through what is popping off and why. So as an analyst, I definitely like to read the news every day in regards to why the cryptos are trending, because in order to get on this list, it has to be constantly searched on CoinGecko, and CoinMarketCap is another platform I definitely advise looking into, and their list is usually a little bit different, but that's besides the fact. Let's go ahead and jump into it. So Notcoin, ever since I started live streaming, 3+ weeks ago, this token has been on there. It's been trending. Why? And I still haven't been able to find the exact answer for this, but I will tell you Toncoin has been pumping. At least a little bit here and there. And then dogs. So Notcoin and dogs are both part of the Ton ecosystem. Definitely continue to keep your eyes on that. I would not jump into those. I think Notcoin is more tied to a gaming project. Dogs is more of a meme community. But I think Ton, if I was to put my money on that bet, it would be in Toncoin. WLFI, I'm going to play a quick clip from from last live stream. So on Thursday, I told everybody on Thursday's live stream, stay away from WLFI. And the reason I said this is because I showed you guys where people were buying at 5 cents, the insiders. Now, the insiders, they got access to this tokens on September 1st. And guess what? September 2nd, it goes public. And then the token dumps. So everybody got in at 5 cents. It drops at 30 cents. They're already up 6x. And then your exit liquidity. So that's definitely something, not to shill my own show, but to tell you, you could do analysis on these projects before they launch, and you could protect yourself from getting smoked. Moving on, we got Pump.Fun. I did a little Pump.Fun versus Bonk video out there. If you're part of either community, I don't envy you. I personally like Bonk. Pump is doing its thing out there. It's back into the top 100. I wouldn't tell you to stay away from it. I'm just not getting in there. I'm not a big fan on how they run that ecosystem. Pudgy Penguin's very bullish on this project. I think the whole NFT wave plus meme community plus institutions are starting to get involved in this one. I think it's a strong buy. Solana, we're going to definitely go over quite a bit on this live stream. Solana, of all the large caps right now, I am most bullish on Solana, and it's not even close. And it's really based off of the last 24 hours, the news that it pulled in, and I think you guys are really going to like it. I teased it in the thumbnail, but I got to break it down for you here shortly. And I'm going to tease you a little bit. So I'm push the Solana news towards closer to the end, or like the middle to the end of the show. So I'm not going to throw it out there. I'm going to let people start tuning in before I give that. Ethereum and Bitcoin, if those two are trending, remember, Bitcoin tops, usually goes to Ethereum. Ethereum controls that dominance. Bitcoin dominance comes down. And then usually it goes into the Solana's, XRPs, etc. And that's kind of where we're at right now. Ethereum took a lot of the dominance. If I was to bet, which I do bet, clearly I buy crypto, I would say the next couple weeks, we're going to start seeing that rotation go into Solana, XRP, and the other large caps. And then in the remaining weeks, maybe October going into November, is whenever we get the mid caps into the low caps. And that's, hopefully we have that blow off top I just explained. That's Crypto 101 for you. November, the year after Bitcoin's halving, is usually whenever you peak. And just the riskier it gets super volatile going into inning 9 of a bull market. All right, moving on. We got some Ondo news. Why is Ondo pumping? Because, and I'm not going to talk too much about this, because I have a video going out tomorrow that I strongly recommend you guys watch. But Ondo Markets is going to be launching tomorrow. For those that don't know, Ondo is kind of an institutional way to get access, or an institutional way to get access into tokenized assets. So something like, BITL. BITL is a tokenized treasury that's run from, okay, so BlackRock has a tokenized product called BITL. BITL is used to back OUSG, which is a tokenized product created by Ondo. Sorry, that was a little word salad, but just know institutions are definitely getting involved with Ondo and tokenized assets such as Tesla shares, or even private equities like Space AI, or SpaceX rather, or OpenAI, two private companies that we soon will probably be able to get access to invest into. Why? Because you get access to the price exposure, the price volatility. You don't have to exactly get access to the stock itself, but if you can get access to the price and it's pegged to something that's stable, or not stable, but if it's pegged to something that is regulated and fair, then you should be able to soon invest into these private companies that are locked behind what only the institutions have access to right now. And for the first time ever, due to digital assets, the people have the power. And that's why I have a voice. That's why I'm here to explain to you guys that you're not going to be exit liquidity for long. You're going to still have access to all the same things that JP Morgan has, for example. And then moving down the list, we got Hemi. Never heard of this one. I'm not going to dive into it right now, but I will tell you, I'll dive into Aave. And here's a little spoiler. Tomorrow's video is September's top 5. This is what it looks like. September top 5 alts. This is a pretty big one. It's pretty cool. And definitely be on the lookout for it. Aave is in this video. And it's because Aave has let's go ahead and Switch it back to this other screen. Aave has Aave Horizon that's launching as well, which is going to be another institutional platform. Ondo, Aave, these guys are crushing it for the institutions. I like Aave more because this one is more based off a DeFi platform, where if you were watching Tim's show, you would have noticed Ondo is locked behind accreditations and things as such. So American investors that have to KYC to get access to these products are getting smoked right now. And before I get into the news, this clears up the trending cryptocurrencies. I'm gonna jump into a quick little Q&A. I want to see what you guys are talking about. I think Tim's stream gets routed to this one, so I might have way more viewers than I typically have, but that's good because I want you guys to smash that like and definitely subscribe because we are creating a movement here. Now, let's go ahead and see what kind of questions you guys have. Brandon saying, who bought the dip? If you bought the dip, put a 1 in chat. If you bought the dip since Bitcoin has retraced from $122,000, put a 1 in chat. I want to see how many of you guys have done that. I actually got a text message this morning from my mom. She said, I bought the dip in the morning, which is good because crypto was a lot lower this morning than it was now. So I just tried to tell her, buy your crypto, get away from refreshing the screen every 2 seconds, because that's what we do in crypto. We buy the dip and then hope for the best, but we continue to refresh. And when sometimes you need to just buy, set, and forget. And I'm here to tell you, the richest people in the world, or at least the richest people in crypto, are the ones that bought their Bitcoin and they lost access to their keys because their emotions didn't get to the best of them. So just take that as a note. Take that as something to learn about, is hodling is more powerful than you think. Let's continue down these comments. You are good on my end, says Ronald. I appreciate it. I'm, again, live from a hotel. The scenery is definitely different than what I typically stream from. So hopefully I don't scuff this stream up. World Liberty, what is it, says Daniel. So shout out Daniel, the Gem Hunters. We are in there like swimwear. So the Gem Hunters is a group that I run over in the Discord server, and we're out there looking for those mid to low cap gems. That's kind of where I specialize. That and also crypto news in general. I'm pretty solid when it comes to crypto. This is not my first bull run. We got Triple D with the Kita shout out. Shout out Kita. KTA is the ticker. I dropped a deep dive on them last week. That's a solid project. Don't sleep on it. You know, there's a lot of FUD that went out last week, which is why the price dropped for Kita. Kita is a scaling solution built on no, it's actually a layer 1. So it's a layer 1 that is immersed in the base ecosystem's activity. They actually have their own base address. And I think there's going to be a lot going on there. They're going to get listed on Coinbase. They don't even have a mainnet yet. So I'm not going to spoil too much of this. Just go check out my layer 1 my video that I dropped last week on Kita. Trust nobody. Ask BitBoy. Oof. I'll tell you this. I actually liked past tense BitBoy. I learned a lot from him last bull market. So I'm not going to, crap on him. Everybody has a bad day. Will he get better? I hope he does, and I wish nothing but the best for him. He's a smart guy. Maybe his channel's not doing the best, but again, I'm not going to kick somebody when they're down because who knows? It could be you tomorrow. So I give him the benefit of the doubt. Hopefully he does well. And then we got a lot more Kita shout outs. You guys are turning into a Kita community, but I don't know if you guys are going to be a bigger Kita community than Caspa. Caspa's always going to be my favorite project, but whichever way you guys go is the way we're going to move as a channel. Crux swapped some Ondo for Render and Tau since I had no exposure, says Brian. Again, so he swapped Ondo for Render and Tau. Cool. I wouldn't put over 10% of my portfolio in AI. This is definitely a speculative niche and is different. So Q1 last year, when NVIDIA became the biggest company in the world in market cap, is when AI really took off. And we just haven't had that same momentum going into Q4 this year. A lot of projects did not get into a new all-time high, breaking into when most projects got into their new their new cycle high, at least, was Q4 last year, going into January of this year. So AI, is it a red flag? No, but I wouldn't have over 10%. And I do think that those are two solid plays. I love some Render, I love Tau, and I love virtuals. Let's read 2 more and then we'll move on to the news. Trade Intuition, number 43 on the like. Remember to smash the like. Love you, Trade Intuition. Joe, he has his channel out there. He's much better at reading charts than me. So if you guys have any questions on, charts or anything like that, check him out. He has an awesome channel over there. And I've been working with them for a couple of years now. So, and then, okay, CeeLo, one of my biggest supporters, CeeLo over there. Shout out from Bitcoin conference. I met him in person. He's an awesome guy. ADA or Aave is the question. I'm going with Aave. Excuse me. So two separate platforms. I like ADA. I'm consider myself in the ADA gang. I hold way more Aave than ADA. And this is something that I want everybody to listen to. Crypto is definitely starting to fork, right? You had Bitcoin purists. You have Bitcoin back in 2010, 11, 12, when it was really just separating itself from the banks, the institutions. But Bitcoin in 2025 is like, which institutions are we going to get? Are we going to get ETF adoption? Are we going to get a USDT stablecoin on our network? Are we going to get centralized scaling solutions like Liquid or like Lightning or like... So Bitcoin, in my opinion, again, has started to lose its way from decentralized and start chasing towards this, the institutions. And ADA was the exact opposite. ADA was like, I want nothing to do with the institutions. We don't want USDC. We don't want any sort of centralization. We're going to make it all our own. And I think it bit themselves in the butt. So what I think is best in 2025 is you want a little bit of institutions and you want a little bit of control. And I think that's the best way going forward. Aave has definitely figured it out. Aave is a decentralized application with over 30 bill in TVL. So it's the biggest application in all of crypto. They just, I think this week, are launching their Horizon markets platform, which allows the institutions to get into Aave. So we know the biggest names, even Cardano himself, Charles Hoskinson, the creator of Cardano himself, talked about he wants to get Chainlink and Aave integrated onto his platform. It is not the other way around. It's not Aave going after Cardano. It's Cardano going after Aave. And that's, I think, just for me, the pure sign that Aave is the better pick of the two in terms of who needs what. The number one platform in all of crypto that's worth more than the next 4 blockchains combined. So if you didn't know, Aave has more TVL locked in it than Solana, than Tron, than Base, and other ecosystems all combined. So this is the reason crypto was created. Borrowing and lending, don't sleep on it. It is a huge use case we all need to start looking into. So I think that spent a lot on that Q&A. I'm going to jump over here into the news because I don't want to spend too much time on this without forgetting to talk about the news. Anyways, we got, if you guys didn't see the video that we dropped on Tim Warren's channel yesterday on Labor Day, it is the coolest concept, right? So what it is called Moon Madness, and this is going to be every couple days. We're going to drop some polls for you guys, and you guys are going to try to figure out which crypto out of the top 32 is going to be the number one crypto that wins, and it's going to go all the way through September. So definitely check out this video. It's on Tim Warren's channel after this. And let's go ahead and I'll walk you quickly through the process, right? So make sure you follow Tim Warren on X. What you're going to do as he's dropping these polls is we're going to vote, right? And this is what it looks like. Which altcoin is a better 10-year hold? Litecoin or Athena? This one's going to be Litecoin. Shout out Litecoin Army. And we are losing the battle, but we will win the war. Moving on, the next poll is which altcoin is better for the 10-year hold, DOT or Uni? I think Uni is going to squeeze this one out. I'm not a big fan of interoperability in 2025, and I got a lot of people agreeing with me. Uni's the way to go. Sui or Near? Sui, and it's not even close. Hype or Aptos? I like Hype. This one's going to be a close one, I think. Aptos has a strong community. I really like what they're doing with their Move programming language, but Hype is like the ultimate liquidity exchange right now over there. Those guys are brand new to crypto. This is their first bull market, and they already made it into the top 15. So don't sleep on Hyper Liquid. And then next we got Ethereum or Algo. I'm going ETH. Yeah, ETH is doing very good right now. So definitely check out Tim Warren's channel. Make sure you go and check on those polls. And Caspa, If you own Caspa and you follow me because of it, make sure we can get that Cinderella story happening. Tomorrow or the next day, you're going to see XRP versus Caspa in that poll, and that is going to be a very tough battle. It is the number 2 crypto, XRP. Number 2 altcoin, sorry. So the number 2 altcoin versus the number 31 altcoin in this list. So if we could beat XRP Army, we could beat anybody. And again, that poll should start very soon in the next couple days. So, all right, let's move back on to the news. All right, we got MicroStrategy buying quite a bit of Bitcoin, 450 million. And I got a couple of these stories lined up for you guys because I want you guys to know you are not alone in buying crypto. We have SharpLink, which has just bought 39,000 Ethereum last week. We have Jack Ma, so one of the world's richest guys, buying crypto right now. And the moral of the story is you are not alone. Continue to buy crypto, continue to hodl, continue to educate yourself, watching channels like myself, Tim's, and there's a lot of creators out there that are very good for you. Just try to filter out the good from the bad, and don't take any of our word as gold, because at the end of the day, this is not financial advice. This is purely entertainment for you guys. So what I try to do is I try to educate as much as myself and provide value through entertainment. And I think we're on I'll tell you, I didn't start streaming until Bitcoin was sub 20K. And then that's whenever I thought it was most important to tell people to start buying. And, my streaming career so far has been successful. So one of the fastest growing crypto YouTube channels within the past month or so, this channel is blowing up. So it's all due to you guys. I'm just here to share my word and entertain you guys. And then you guys push me on whatever trajectory is possible. So I ain't leaving you guys. I'm going to be here mainly whenever you need me the most. This is starting to become I don't want to say the peak of the bull run's coming soon, but I want to tell you guys, it's starting to, optimism is starting to kind of slowly work its way in here. Is the peak going to be in Q4 like it always is? Has the peak already happened? Other than me starting my content creating career, sub 20K Bitcoin, this is the second most important time, which is going to be near the peak, or what could be the peak of the bull run. And again, don't take my word for certain, but I think it's best to take profits at the end of the year. And again, that's just in case the 4-year cycle is still here. And if you believe the 4-year cycle is here, go ahead and let me know in the comments. The 4-year cycle is either here or it's not, or it's broken. The institutions are here, and it's going to throw us in a forever up and right market similar to gold. So I want to hear your thoughts in the comments, and I'll do one last news story, and then we'll go ahead and jump into some more Q&A. So should I go ahead and play that clip right now? Yeah, all right, let's go ahead and play this clip. This is from last week, and let me know if you can't hear it. This is a very quick video. All right, so there's a big token drop that's coming soon, September 2nd, and let me tell you guys why I think you should stay away from it. So you see WLFI, a lot of people know it as the company's tied to Donald Trump, right? So there's a lot of companies that are, it's through the ticker WLFI, that are under this, and they start buying these different assets. Now, early backers who purchase tokens at 0.015 and 5 cents will be able to claim 20% of their holdings starting September 1st, right? So September 1st, we should see this token go in public and possibly being launched, representing about 5% of the total supply. So the token is currently minted. A lot of insiders, they have access to this. And my take is very important because I think you guys need to hear it. This token will launch immediately into the top 10, right? They're already speculating that there's a $40 billion market cap. We've seen this happen before. Trump launched a meme token and it launched straight into, I think, a $13-14 billion market cap within a single weekend. So insane price action. People got wrecked on it, very reckless. But people, anytime they see Donald Trump's name, they tie profitability to it. They tie opportunity and all these things. But there's many times where the stuff did not work out. So I'm not going to sit here and bash Trump, but I will say, in order to protect you guys, I'm going to give my honest takes. And again, it's not financial advice, but at the current prices of 20 cents, which most likely when it drops on September 1st, it's going to drop at 40 bill market cap, 20 cents, maybe even 30 cents. At a minimum, insiders are up 4x. So the insiders that got 5 cent, got those tokens at 5 cents are already up 4x once they get those tokens. So guess what? People are going to be exit liquidity on day one. Expect a huge dump. And then people got in at 0.015. They are up many, many X's. Be very careful with this stuff. You know, you see it in the news, WLFI. All right, so I bring that story up to tell you, if you follow my channel, you know exactly where we're headed. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, so if you know exactly how to read tokenomics, this is the biggest thing in crypto as an analyst, because you know who has access to what and when. So you know exactly if you're going to be exit liquidity or not. So over the weekend, I had a ton of people that were telling me, you know, WLFI, this is going to be the hot token. Should I buy? And I always tell people to continue doing your own research before you buy anything. But most importantly, if you would have listened to my channel back on Thursday, you would have been protected from this kind of stuff, because no matter what you believe about Trump or these types of things, I'm here just to kind of try to figure out if it's going to make money or not, right? So again, this is not financial advice, but I can tell you, just because somebody may believe in Donald Trump or what he's doing, it doesn't mean you should go out there and try to get rich off his name. So this is just the news here. The Trump family wealth surged by $5 billion after launching WLFI. And if I'm not mistaken, Donald Trump was not a billionaire before he became a president. I know he was a very wealthy man, but I don't think he was a billionaire. And someone could fact check me. I could be wrong. I don't think he was. But if you looked at the Trump token, overnight, his wealth 2, 3, 4x'd overnight because of the Trump token. And it's because he had access, and he still has access to 85% of the supply. So that being said, for every dollar you put into it, you're going to need to make at least a 5x just to break even. And that's kind of how, you know, the risk to reward metrics lands. You know, you don't want to have insiders having access to too much of the liquidity. And then WLFI is no different. This family is getting very rich off of crypto. And I don't want to call you guys exit liquidity, but I'll tell you, I'm not buying any. I'm staying away from it. And I think you should too. So what do you guys think about WLFI? Let's go ahead and read some more of these questions that you guys have. Wow, Great Alpha says CeeLo swapping it out. Yeah, I would definitely stay away. If you haven't smashed that like button and subscribe yet, you need to push yourself in a 5-minute time. Oh, you need to put yourself in a 5-minute timeout. Tim, I agree with you. Put yourself in a timeout, because this is the show. This is where you're going to learn about why. We talk about the chain links. We talk about the Ondos and the XRPs, Solanas. Definitely, if you're Solana Army, you guys are going to love what I got to tell you here in a second, because Solana is second to none right now. Solana's momentum on the large cap side is just breaking barriers right now. And something in the past 24 hours happened, and, you know, I think you're going to like it. I was not exit liquidity, says Daniel. Well, Daniel, I mean, technically you don't lose until you sell. So, and who knows, you might have bought after the dump. So make you a little bit of gains and get up out of there. I would definitely stay away from WLFI though if I was you. Not financial advice. Praise God, says Daniel. All right. Brian Crux, biggest multiple this season: Morpho, Arrow, Ondo, Aave, and Solana. Okay. So you asked this on Tim's channel, and I said Morpho, but let me go ahead and break it down to give you a better answer. And, all right, so the names: Morpho, Arrow, Ondo, Aave, Solana. And you're going for the biggest multiple. The reason I said Morpho is because the market cap is much lower, and it's on the hottest blockchain right now, mid-cap wise. I mean, technically, Sui would be considered a large cap. Now going into this bull market, it's the new kid on the block. Sui, Swee, SWEE is kind of how you're supposed to pronounce it. Aerodrome, as much as I like it, oh, that's a tough one. So this would be between Morpho and Aerodrome. The reason I'm gonna give it to Morpho, smaller market cap. Aerodrome had a really good run up. The base ecosystem is on fire right now. That's a tough one. Ondo, Aave, Solana, all their market caps are just too big. As much as I like Ondo, Aave, Solana, out of those three, I'm gonna give it to Aave for return. Well, Ondo or Aave. So as much as I fundamentally like Solana, and I just talked very bullish on Solana, the market cap's too high. Ondo has a very good pullback. I think it's a solid buying opportunity. Aave, check out my video tomorrow on why Aave is definitely going to start pumping. Not financial advice. Arrow, Morpho, out of those two, I like the borrowing and lending platform over the DeFi narrative or over the decentralized exchange narrative. So I'm going to go Morpho on Sui over Arrow on Base. Final answer. The bottom might be in on WLFI, says Daniel. I mean, the bottom could be in, or you might be more eggs of liquidity. So how many more people is the Trump family bringing into crypto to dump on you guys? I'm staying away from the stuff, and I encourage you to also. Manuel says, what are your thoughts on Ondo tomorrow? Pump and dump when Ondo markets go live. Yeah, this is definitely going to be not a buy the rumor, sell the news type event, but this is tough. I've been making Ondo videos for 6 months at this point. You can go and check out ones that I dropped in February of this year or March. I'm not sure. It's actually one of my best performing videos that I have on this channel was Ondo. You guys love Ondo. And I was talking about Ondo markets already. So Ondo markets is not a new concept. This is when the institutions get access to the stocks. And I mean, Ondo chain, as much as I like it, they're kind of doing we're going to create our own chain. We're going to get away from the Solanas. Solana is smoking Ondo right now in terms of who's creating what. So if I go over here, let's go to rwa.xyz. All right. And then we'll go to view analytics. And then let's go check out the tokenized stocks right now, which are going to be over here on the left side. All right. Check out all of these networks. All right. Solana. All right. We got a little Algorand. Shout out Algorand if you're in there. XRP. If you're rocking XRP, throw up the X's in chat. But look at this. Solana. You're talking about the micro strategies, the NVIDIAs, the S&P 500s. All the hottest stocks, they're being built on Solana. So is Ondo going to come through, create their own chain, and disrupt Ondo? My bet 10 out of 10 times is for Solana to figure this out. It's just the quicker network overall. They have a lot more built out on them. But I'm not trying to FUD people out of Ondo. I think Ondo is just the more insider friendly one. This is going to be me. We now have access to Alphabet stock through decentralized exchanges, and that's pretty cool. But the big money, they're always going to be going towards the regulatory friendly platforms. So Ondo is the way to go on that one. Let's go ahead and check one more comment, and then we'll jump back into the news and why most of you guys are here to hear about the successful Solana story on what happened in the past 24 hours. I see a lot of X's in chat. XRP Army showing up. All right, Corey, you got the last one. We got Plume, Pith, or Mamo to buy more of. That's a good question. All right, so Plume, real world asset play, decentralized. It's probably sitting around like 250 mil market cap, so under a $250 million. You're looking at the TVL that's very high right now. I like what Plume is doing. They're in there. They're in there with Trump's team. You know, they're having they're up there in the business meetings of Sergey Nazarov, of the Brad Garling houses of the world. So that's definitely one you want to have your eye on is Plume. Pith kind of like fell off for a while. A secondary option for Chainlink is definitely needed. Chainlink right now is like a monopoly in crypto. If you're not integrated with Chainlink, you're set to fail. And unfortunately, Charles Hoskinson just came out and was talking about he needs Aave and he needs Chainlink, and I agree with them. He tried to build these out, and he is not doing well. You don't want to continue fighting these companies or these applications because you will lose. A lot of these applications are choosing to integrate the Chainlinks and the Aaves of the world, and you can't compete, unfortunately. It used to be in 2010, 11, 12, whenever crypto was here for the small guy, for you and me. Crypto is no longer here for the small guy. It is here for the institutions, and this is what might break the 4-year cycle. But your question, Plume, Pith, or Mamo, Mamo is going to by far be the biggest degen project of the group. For those that this is probably their first time here in Mamo, I'm sure there's going to be a lot of you. MAMO is a ticker. The reason I'm pretty bullish on this project, you're sitting sub 50 mil market cap, and you have some of the biggest names in the base ecosystem behind it. You have Luke Moonwell, who created, Luke Youngblood, who created Moonwell and is a key contributor to, not Morpho. Morpho is built on Sui. No. Wait. No, Morpho is on base. My bad. So earlier I was talking about Morpho being on Sui. Morpho is built on Base, which is the #1 borrowing and lending platform. So Luke is part of the #1 and 2 borrowing and lending platform. This is an AI agent that allows you to put your yield on here, or put your crypto on here and get solid yield. 7.8% is nothing to scoff at, for one of the hottest applications in all of crypto. And most people that are getting into crypto don't want to go through the mundane task of learning how to do use all the different centralized exchanges and all the weird stuff. With Mamo, all you got to do is send money to a wallet, and this AI agent, it finds the best yields for you. So it is definitely one of my go-tos on the higher risk, higher reward side. Now, your question, going back to it, was of Pith, Plume, or Mamo. I would definitely buy. That's a tough one. I mean, I own all 3 of them. I own different amounts. I own more Pith than I own Plume than I own of Mamo, and that's all because of the market cap. So if you want the least risk, put it into Pith. Second least risk, Plume. Third least risk, Mamo. All solid projects, but it's all about risk appetite on that question, and that's what I'm gonna leave it at. All right, let's go ahead and jump back into some more news for you guys. Did I do that right? Yes, I did. All right, some more news. Talked about that already. All right, Solana news. This is what you see on the thumbnail. You see Solana token. Crux is smiling. What's going on? Excuse me. All right. So the community governance process for SIMD 0326 Alpenglow is complete. The proposal has passed. So for those that have kind of been living under a rock, they've been watching Solana's price action very well over the past 2 weeks. And this is why. So Alpenglow is not just some random consensus update. This is the bee's knees for the Solana ecosystem. So for those that don't know how Solana works, it is a very scalable network. You're looking at upwards of a couple thousand TPS on its current consensus. And as much as I like it, the issue behind it was the finality. And if you don't know, if person A sends a transaction to person B, person B, even if it gets to person B, it's not completely in their wallet until it's final. So you have a lot of blockchains now that are sub-second finality, but no matter what the TPS is, it still has to settle. So you could send it over the blockchain. It's still not secure and settled in somebody's wallet for about 15 seconds on Solana. Now, if I'm standing in line to buy some coffee and I'm waiting for 15 seconds after I bought the coffee, that person behind me in line has to wait 15. So that's 30 seconds and then another 15, etc. So 15 seconds isn't exactly peer-to-peer. And though Solana every now and then can get lucky right now and run a transaction and settle within a couple seconds, on average right now it's 15 seconds. So the TPS is kind of, it's just not accurate, right? So this right here, going back to the Alpenglow consensus update, we had 52% of the validators vote on this, which is a very big turnout. Half of your ecosystem voted on it, but if we go back to the numbers, 98% said yes. So we finally, and if you want to read this while I'm talking about it, we finally have the way to solve this finality issue within Solana. So that's going to be the number one thing. We definitely will go for sub-second finality. So we send the transaction quickly. It is settled quickly. So there's no pulling it back. There's nothing that can happen. We have a smarter consensus. So voter rotor, that's going to be the new consensus mechanism. I forgot exactly what it's called right now, but it's pretty. The one now is somewhat efficient, but it's 2025. We can only go up from here. Even if 20% of the validators go down and another 20% act maliciously, the chain keeps running. So it's not only the scalability you're working with, it's also the security. And then you got a couple other things. Either way, Solana, very bullish on this project. If you own some Solana, put a 2 in chat. If you own Solana, put a 2 in chat. And I actually want to hear what you guys are going to say on this one, because I'm going to read some of these comments right now. All right. Yeah, so Michael, I did say stay away from WLFI. I said it last Thursday. So, I mean, if you're hearing it now for the first time, hopefully you didn't get burnt. But again, this is me. I did research on what these people bought it at. If somebody's raising funds and they say they'll give you tokens at 5 cents, but when the token launches, it's 30 cents, and they get access to those tokens, they're going to dump it. They're already up 6x, and you had people buying at 0.015. So some people were up probably, I can't do the quick math, but I would not be surprised to say 100x. Because remember, if I create a token, right, it has 0 market cap when I create the token. I am the first person that puts money into this. I put $10 into this token, right, $10, and then this token runs to 1 million market cap. My $10 is worth way more than somebody if they waited till 1 million market cap to now put $10 in, right? Because I bought it before the run up. So that's how it works with a lot of these tokens. And there's nobody out there probably in the world that's going to be able to raise insider funds than Donald Trump. So that's who you're competing against, is the people that invested at $0. People are going to be up hundreds of X's whenever, by the time this thing launches, and it's at multiple billions. So that's what I was telling you guys. Stay away from all that insider garbage. Again, this is not a hit on Donald Trump as a person, but I'm telling you, that family is getting rich off of crypto. And you've heard about Trump over the past decades, 10, 20, 30 years. New York real estate was his way to making money. And in a single weekend, he doubled, tripled, and quadrupled his net worth off of a meme token. So crypto is a lot bigger than what people think. Continue doing your research. And that's how you monetize your platform. I'm not going to hate him for it, but there's a lot of people that got burnt. And for every success story that you heard, oh, I made, 5x off Trump token, there were thousands that lost, 90% of their portfolio on this token. So, or 90% of their holdings, sorry. As a ROI. So Tony says it's a scam. I don't know if it's a scam, but I have nothing to do with it, and I don't want anything to do with it. All right, so y'all are talking about Axelar quite a bit in here. I talked about Axelar on Thursday, so you can go over there and check out my thoughts on it. I don't think it's a bad play. It's a very interesting play because they cover AI, interoperability, data storage. There's some big buzzwords. There's some pretty big institutions that are in there. So I'm just not a big fan of it just yet. But if you guys keep on jumping in my comments and recognizing it, then who knows? I might capitulate. So SG says, but okay. So a lot of people putting 2s in chat. This is for my Solana comment earlier. If you own Solana, throw those 2s in chat. 2, but I have FOMO, so it seems I have a bit of many things. Yeah, I personally own well over 40 to 50 cryptos at this point. So I am all over the place, but I know exactly what I own. So if anybody asks me, what does token number 33 do? I would be able to give you a very well explained answer, probably better than most maxis in that ecosystem. And that's how I operate. So I think it's important to know everything about every crypto, especially if you're going to own it. And that's why I don't choose to commit to one platform. So you'll see maxis who only shoot Bitcoin. You'll see Ethereum maxis. Some people think only Ethereum should exist. I think everything should exist and let the markets decide where we're going from here. What do you think about XDC? Isn't it part of the X family? Not really. It's not part of XDC or XRP, XLM, etc. The only thing that puts XRP and XLM together is Jed McCaleb, and he was a founder of both of them. So he went on founded XRP and Ripple Labs, and then ended up taking his shares, essentially his tokens, and dumping on everybody and going to form his own investment, which was XLM. So I have a bad taste in my mouth for XLM just because of that. I don't think it's a bad project. It's actually a pretty solid technology, but I would prefer XRP over XLM. But XDC, they're taking more of instead of just the peer-to-peer like money that these two platforms have tried to solve, you're looking at real world assets and tokenization as part of it. So XDC is pushing more with the institutions in terms of real world assets. Now, XRP, I don't know if there's even a bigger institutional token right now than XRP, other than maybe Chainlink and Solana. I mean, Chainlink, Solana, XRP, those are like the three gods of institutional buys right now. I would not fade XRP. I would fade XDC and XLM because there is a possibility that one doesn't play out. But I don't want to spread FUD. There's nothing wrong with those ecosystems. I think XRP is by far the better project to hold of those groups, and that's because I follow smart money. What is the smart money doing? And I'm swimming with the whales. Why am I going to try to fight a whale whenever these guys are creating money and they are continuing to push this company forward, getting involved with the biggest banks in the world? XRP right now has second to none in terms of partnerships. And yeah, so I hope you guys learned a little bit right there. Bitcoin layer 1 is the hidden gem. Seth, you are tripping. Bitcoin layer 1 is slow as snails. It takes 6 confirmation times on 10-minute blocks, so 1 hour on average to settle a transaction on Bitcoin. The network is trash. Again, not fudding it because a lot of people look at market cap and they consider that as the end goal. So, for example, if Bitcoin went to 10 trillion market cap tomorrow, it is what it is. But me as an analyst, nothing fundamentally changed about it. So my opinion's not going to change. I don't care so much about the market cap with Bitcoin. I care, is it going to be the peer-to-peer narrative? No, it's not. But that's okay, because now it's a store of value. Now what I care about is when people continue to call it a peer-to-peer network and it's successful at doing so when it's not. So that's the thing I have about Maxiisms. That's the thing about that I have about Bitcoin is I actually study blockchains. So if you're going to try to tell me that Bitcoin is efficient, then you're lying. And I will call you out on it. And I'll tell you that there's things that are way more efficient currently, because that's what I do. I look for what is the most efficient thing currently in the space. And right now it is Caspa. And I don't care about market cap. If Caspa was 2 trillion market cap right now, and it was the number 2 crypto right behind Bitcoin, everybody would be in it right now. So people are just so tied to the market cap and they forget to do the research because the market cap's not there yet. So what we want to do is do the research before the market cap gets there, and that's how you get rich in crypto. So crypto one-on-one for you guys. Crypto Wolf, I hear a lot of a Bitcoin. What do you think of that? I don't know if you're talking about the meme token. There's a couple different meme tokens right now that are looking to use Bitcoin's name. Seth, no apology necessary. Many love both. It is okay. Joe Bro says Chainlink. Yeah, if you're a Link Marine, throw up cheat threes in chat. Link Marines, where you at? I hodl quite a bit of Link. I think Chainlink is a solid project. I just talked about institutions with XRP, XDC, XLM. You got to have Chainlink in there. And Chainlink, so there's two cryptos that were mentioned on the Nielsen report, which is a very published, very high notoriety publication out there that many executives from the biggest branches all read. It's called the Nielsen report. Only 2 cryptos are on there. Kita, so quick little shout out to Kita, shout out Kita. And 2 is Chainlink. I love both of those projects. Seth says crypto, Crux, you misunderstood what I was saying. Oh, my bad. Yeah, I might have put words in your mouth. Forgive me if I did. Yeah, I did misunderstood. Okay. Like, smash the B team. Appreciate it. Continue to smash those likes. I have quite a bit of, dang, okay, 130 viewers. Wow, this is definitely my best performance. And unfortunately, you guys are not seeing the whole layout. If you check out my last live stream on Thursday, you'll see my lights and everything. If it's a bearish day, it's always red. So I have the lights over me red. You'll see my computer in the background. It'll be red. So I try to, increase the ambiance for you guys, give you guys a little bit of, just a clear picture of what's going on. Today, I would say is probably, I would have the lights white or green if I was there. And it's all good, says Seth. Cool. All right, so let's wrap. We got about 10 minutes left. What you guys can do, other than smash that like and subscribe, as you can see up top, follow me on X, join Discord. Those are both free. Links in the description below. Oh yeah, Q&A. Go ahead and put your questions. I'll get to those here shortly as I wrap up the news. All right, so Dogecoin. If you own Dogecoin, I know I'm throwing a lot of numbers. I just said 3 for Link Marines. Put a 4 up for Doge. If you own some Dogecoin, put the 4s up. This is one you do not want to sleep on for the month of September, and let me tell you why. All right, so the Dogecoin Foundation right here, House of Doge, Dogecoin Foundation, and Clean Core just put $175 million into a Dogecoin treasury. So for those that don't know, treasuries are where a company can allocate funds. Usually they have to go through a voting process, and then they can allocate company funds into cryptocurrencies. We currently have Lion's Share Holding, which, well, previously known as Lion's Share Holding, which is a NASDAQ listed company that just put, I think it was $500 million, if I'm not mistaken. It's like $450 million worth of SUI in their own treasury, and they renamed it since. Now, we're starting to see all of these different successful cryptocurrencies, even Pudgy Penguins, they're starting to form their own treasury. Dogecoin just is starting their first treasury, which is huge. On top of that, guess what? Elon Musk's lawyer, Alex Spiro, set to chair $200 million Dogecoin treasury. So, X money, this is, if you go back and start studying Elon Musk, right? In the 90s, before PayPal, before all that stuff, he had a vision to create X money. So X money was like the end goal. If you're to go back and look at, his interviews were talking about in the 90s. He finally, I think it was like 2019 or 18, he was able to get x.com, the domain, which he rebranded into Twitter. So a lot of people are sleeping on X money, which is launching later this year. And then, Elon Musk's lawyer is now heading the treasury of it. So the world's richest man is behind what I think is going to be the next Dogecoin pump. And X money, again, launches late this year. It could launch as early as September. So I would not be sleeping on Dogecoin. This is one that has not pumped very recently. But if I go to the price action of Dogecoin, it has outperformed Bitcoin. It's outperformed every other large cap except for, and I might have to move out the way. Here, give me a second. All right. Let me move out the way so you guys can see. Actually, well, you're going to have to take my word on it because this camera layout is scuffed. Dogecoin is doing very well right now. This bull market, it actually did a 9x from like 5 cents up to 45 cents, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, 5 cents to 45 cents. Dogecoin is done. Bitcoin from 15.5 to 122 isn't even that 9x. So it's outperformed Bitcoin. Chainlink hasn't done that. A lot of these other large caps have not outperformed Bitcoin. So if you're sleeping on Dogecoin, what are you doing? Follow Crux, follow the news, and make a little bit of money. Okay. Okay. Secondly, we got the top 5 alts of September every single month. You can go back. June was my first. I did June, July, August, September. So this is either my 4th or my 5th one. And you could check out my calls, right? If you go back and look at like June's top 5, definitely hold me accountable because as a content creator, I'm leading you guys. the best thing you can do when you're creating content is be upfront and open about stuff. And the best thing you can do to verify that is to go back and check someone's calls. So what I encourage you guys to do, don't only just wait for this one that drops tomorrow about September's picks, but go back and check out the one that dropped last month, or the months before, and see, is this guy actually good with these picks? And I definitely want you to put pressure on the content creators. And if the content creators don't like the pressure, then maybe they should get out the fire, So that's what I got for you. Let's go ahead and finish this up with a couple more questions, Q&As, and then we'll wrap this up. Sorry, messing with this. I'm not in my normal layout. All right. Solana is still 50% slower than Caspa. Cryptoni, you are not lying. All right, so Caspa has near instant finality. Now, okay, so it did say about 100 to 150 milliseconds, Cryptoni. Caspa isn't instant yet. So I think Caspa, once Dag Night happens, it should be instant if I'm not mistaken. I think Caspa is currently near instant. If you want to go ahead and fact check me on that, Cryptoni, that's cool. I like Cryptoni. He's in here, very active. Appreciate your guidance, brother. But Caspa, I don't think is instant just yet. A lot of the fastest blockchains right now, like the Sui's, the Says, they're all sub 1 second. So that's like the buzzword right now for latency. But very few of them are instant. Caspa, of all the technologies right now, Caspa is by far the best. And again, I look at a lot of these different things. So Caspa is at 100 millisecond, right? So Cryptoni, after Solana goes through this, then they should be 100 millisecond, 100 to 150 millisecond for their settlement time, which is good. You can handle any real world, issue with 150 milliseconds of latency. People aren't going to be mad having to wait 1/10 of a second, for a transaction to settle. But right now it takes 15 seconds on average for Solana to settle, and people can get mad for 15 seconds because that's inefficient. Visa is right now what we're trying to compete against. And there's only a handful of networks right now I would consider competitive with Visa right now. So I would say Caspa is competitive with Visa. Solana, after this Alpenglow upgrade, will be competitive. Sui is definitely competitive. You have you have some networks that are not used, so they're fast. So for example, ICP, you have a lot of scaling solutions. They're very fast. So the base networks of the world. But in 2025, I'm not a big fan of L2 scaling solutions. I like main layers. I like the L1s, and that's why I like Caspa. Thoughts on NVIDIA, says Michael. I think NVIDIA is the future. If I can only hold 3 stocks for the next 10 years, NVIDIA and Coinbase. That's crazy. NVIDIA and Coinbase are going to be 2 of those 3. Tesla would be the 3rd. NVIDIA, Coinbase, Tesla. If I had to hold 3 stocks for 10 years, that is it. The cat's out the bag. All right. Crux, will Jito unlock this month hurt the price? I wanted more before Solana run, says Brian. All right, well, let's quickly look into that, Brian. I don't know. Well, let's go ahead and look at DeFi Llama. I think this is it. You're asking specifically for Jito. GITO is a ticker. I mean, Solana's TVL right now is currently about at its all-time high, or at least where it was in January of this year. We surpassed where it was last bull market, so Solana is on a run. Solana is now the number 2 behind Ethereum. So, but you're asking about Jito. Jito is the biggest. So 3 billion. They must have taken a hit. Hold up. Yeah, they took a hit. So they used to be 4 billion. That's definitely surprising. Will it influence Solana is your question. It probably will a little bit, but I wouldn't wrap my head too much around that. Solana with the Alpenglow consensus upgrade is way bigger news than what I guess technically the second biggest application built on Solana has in terms of just price action and influence over the market. So B-ball golf is basically how much does it matter that a network is faster than 1 second slash instant? Right, B-ball. There isn't much of a difference. The difference is like if I sent you money right now, if you had to wait 1/10 of a second. That's exactly what finality is. When the first user sends it to the end user, and nothing can happen in terms of that transaction. So currently, if somebody sends a transaction on Solana and it takes 15 seconds for them to receive it, stuff can happen during that 15 seconds to where this person does not receive it. So it increases the security, increases the throughput, and all these different things. And I'm not trying to FUD Solana. 15 seconds, 99.9% of the time, nothing's going to happen at 15 seconds. But it's always better that it settles as fast as possible, especially if I go to, let's just pull out a random project. Go back here, go here. Let's check out SEI. SEI is a ticker. There's a pretty bullish project that I think is going to have a successful second bull run. So I don't currently own any right now, but I mean, you can see it right here, 400 milliseconds it can settle. So less than half a second. It processes 10,000 TPS. So technically, this is the more successful blockchain in terms of throughput than Solana. So Solana might show a faster TPS, but if the latency is slower, then I would definitely go for this one. Because I don't want that wide gap. Like Solana right now, you could send something and within, half a second, it can be there. But most of the time, it's going to be 15 seconds on average. And it's just too inconsistent. So that's how blockchains work. I hope that helps. And I hope you guys smash that like. Definitely share this with your friends. Tuesday, Thursday, 4 p.m. Eastern Standards, whenever I go live. Crux of Crypto here. Yeah, this channel's blowing up. One of the fastest YouTube channels in crypto right now. And I'm not saying that to brag or anything like that, but you can look at the performance. I think my views are up like 4.5x right now. My subscribers up are and this is the past 28 days. So last month, I'm up like 4.5x on almost everything in terms of subscribers, followers, likes, everything. And I think it's because you guys like the live streams. I'm not here to just regurgitate information that I see on Twitter. I'm here to break it all down for you guys because I think that you guys like it. And with that being said, thank you guys for asking all the hard questions because I like a challenge. And definitely give me that follow on X because, we're going places here. We are. So without further ado, you guys have a